Jesus stopped playing hockey?
Why?
I asked why.
Because he's a Jew.
He kept getting nailed to the board.
It's getting worse and worse.
Does anyone want to talk about trans issues?
I'm tapped out.
Yeah.
The only
This
issue
is my
with
room.
trans is they aren't killing themselves.
Alright, I have an actual question.
I think 40% is pretty high, and it's kind of a problem caused by outside factors, such as yourself.
Bump those numbers up.
No, you should probably lower them. And we could actually lower them by putting guillotines in Times Square. And you can be first up.
There
You
we
can
go.
choose which one you want to go to. We'll have a lot of them.
Damn.
So
Do you live in
you have a
Canada?
nice choice. That's right. No, I live in the States.
Live in the United
I said
States?
Times Square.
Rad.
Yeah.
I have a question.
No, you don't, chicken.
Okay, you're right.
Well, what's your question?
Why is Paul Nerf standing in front of me? Or sitting in front of me?
I don't know who that is.
Don't worry about it.
Anybody? Okay. So, I've had a lot of discussion today. I've went over most of the general points. I know a lot of you weren't here for that. So, if any of you have any kind of questions or concerns about gender or trans issues or anything to do with that topic, I'm willing to discuss them with you. I'm a non-binary individual myself.
I have not a question, but just like a
So are you a
statement.
boy
I
or
kind
a
of want to go
girl?
with the discussion, really.
Okay, hold on. Dink, I've heard you ask me that several times, and it either shows a pretty bad faith argument or a lack of understanding of what we're even discussing. So, boy,
Like, which one were you born as?
I'm pretty sure you can tell by my voice. I'm not ignorant
woman?
to that fact. Yes.
Yeah. Oh. Born as a woman?
Yeah. Isn't it obvious with my voice?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The more you know.
Thank you. That's very gender affirming.
What does that?
This isn't a joke.
Alright, if someone becomes one gender, but they say, you know what, this isn't for me.
It used to be
They
known as
swap to a
Perry
different
Piper.
Gender, and some guy gets mad at that. Is that right or no?
I wouldn't say it's right, no. I'd say that other people's gender should be something that you should either respect or neglect.
So if you're switching on a
when you
day-to-day
have a-
basis, it's okay, like to not
That's-
be shit on
that's-
or whatever.
That's super rare that anyone would be like that fluid with their gender. Like some
There's a kid
people.
at my school that does the same thing. It's kind of annoying.
Yeah, well, that's usually like related to kind of like general confusion and dysphoria. So instead of like abandoning the concept altogether, they switch between the two. That's a pretty common thing with like gender fluidity. So
Well, she has a multiple personality disorder, kind of like split. It's kind of creepy, not gonna lie. It's
Yeah,
cool
that
though,
could
but
be-
it's kind of scary.
that could be like a multiple identity disorder.
Look at the psychiatrist over here.
Dissociative identity disorder. I know a lot about psychological problems. I didn't go to
I have
school
a
for it.
question.
Like
Right,
schizophrenia
thank
and
you.
shit.
So do you think that there is, do you think the only difference between men and women is completely, societal?
No, there are physical traits that are high, like bone density, muscle mass, shoulders, your height usually,
Brain
genitalia.
size.
Your penis! Oh, okay.
Yeah, you got it.
Yeah, I was
Um,
gonna say that too.
But those
So
are
you don't-
sexual characteristics. Those are not gender characteristics. Most of the ways that people behave within a society are those are gender issues, and those are pretty societal by definition.
So do you subscribe to the idea that there are only two biological genders?
There are no biological genders. What you mean to say is sex, and there are technically sort of almost two sexes. It is a bimodal distribution. Even sex isn't a binary.
What the fuck?
So a
Wait,
bimodal
what?
distribution, yeah, so a bimodal distribution is a distribution of a curve where there's two major humps, and then it kind of tapers off into the middle, and there's some wiggle room in the middle. So there are people that are born with
Wiggle.
both sets of genitalia, or a mixture of the two, or none. There's a lot of things like that, and you can call them disorders if you want, but disorders are just, a way to categorize outliers, but it means that there
but
is no
they
binary.
usually lean to one or the other.
Yeah, but once
Sometimes.
you get into bimodal curves, you're getting into gradients. And how do you define a gradient?
I don't know what that means. How do you define a gradient?
Gradients from
You're
Minecraft?
using a lot of math terms. You should know.
I don't know what you mean by defining a
bro.
gradient.
It's a gradient.
It's a
Like, where
rock.
does one gender transition into another?
Color is easy to define.
So if I have a
You wanna label the genders, but where does one transition into another?
Well, that's the thing, is that's why you would label it as a spectrum. It doesn't. There's no like set line where it transitions from one to the other.
if I have a
Then
child,
why
about
even
the domain
label them in the
controller
first place?
not
then?
Hold on. Dink, what?
what do you suggest I categorize my child as when they're born?
If you want to go with the societal standard of if they are born with a penis or a vagina, and it's very obvious,
My child's born with a cock and balls. I call him a boy.
Hey, a question.
you can do that, and if they grow up and they have a lot of issues with their body, and they start telling you that they don't feel like a boy, they don't feel like the other boys, they want to talk to all the girls, they want to be called she, what are you gonna do?
What if they have a cash miss?
Hold on. Can you tell me about
Hey,
your...
what if it's a hermaphrodite?
I asked Dink a question.
What if
Wait,
that monitor needs
if
another
my
box of
child wanted to be
pixels?
called a she, but my child was a boy,
If they were born with a penis and they wanted to be called she, what would you do?
Beat their
I'd
ass.
probably continue to refer to them as a boy.
Okay. That's pretty yikesy, but that's your choice.
All right, so
There's
can I
a-
ask you
because my
what
child's
your
just fucking
your
wrong.
childhood upbringing was?
My upbringing, I was raised Catholic. in a
Just
pretty
like how my
quiet
child
home
wants to
as a
drink
single
some
child.
bleach because he thinks it's juice. I'm gonna.
Oh, that's the reason why he's transgender. He's Catholic.
So
Makes sense.
Dink, you're conflating the idea of gender being a social construct with being wrong.
It's not.
As wrong as drinking bleach. What do you mean gender isn't a social construct? Every fucking academic principle that like is in existence agrees with me and disagrees with you, and they'd fucking laugh at you if you went anywhere with
Not the one
academia and said
No,
that gender wasn't
university,
social.
When they
only
have
true
a
in one
study
university.
That
PragerU?
proposes that
Yeah,
they
PragerU.
get shut the fuck down because of it's
They don't get
transphobic.
shut down. Give me any sort of analytical data on people getting shut down for disagreeing
one
with
second.
academia. They don't get looked
Their ass
at,
hurts.
and they get laughed at because it's not right and it's incorrect.
Working as designed.
Yeah, but should that be the environment on college and university campuses?
To get laughed at when you provide evidence that is in bad faith, yes.
To get laughed at and humiliated when you have a difference of
When
opinion.
you argue in bad faith, yes.
I would disagree.
I agree with
I
that.
think-
Yeah.
Do you know what a bad faith argument is?
An argument in bad faith.
Correct. And you don't
Hell
think that
yeah,
should be
brother.
laughed at and disconcerted as being bad faith?
Yeah, exactly.
Good answer. Anybody else?
Christianity is bad faith.
Sorry, what did you say?
I was asking you why you wouldn't dismiss a bad faith argument.
Oh, I dismiss that. I just wouldn't
Hey,
humiliate.
Dinky, I got bad news.
Well,
for you,
that's a
dude. Santa
personal
Claus isn't
decision.
real.
I prefer to box their eye sockets in. What?
I have a question.
Santa
Okay.
Claus isn't real. Debate
So-
that.
Dyslexic, please
What chicken?
don't do that to me. All right.
Santa
okay.
Claus is real. What are you talking about, man?
No,
Mark,
he's
Mark,
not.
please, guys. I have a serious question, please. I
Okay,
Yeah, go ahead,
All
Jacob.
right. All right. What's 1 + 1?
Traditionally, it's been 2.
Damn it! I thought it was 3.
Hey,
Well,
can I make a
that's why-
joke? Can
that's
I
why we're
do
here.
jokes? Can I go on
No.
the stage and do jokes?
You can go to
That's not
another
what this
interview,
lobby is
Judge.
made for.
That's not this
What's
lobby
worse
is
than
made
ants
for.
in your pants?
Hey, is coronavirus have a gender?
No.
Technically, it's female because it's asexual.
I don't know what the fuck that
No,
means.
female and asexual are different. They're I mean, not
Yeah.
inclusive, whatever.
Yeah. Danker knows what's up. That was a base take.
No, it's
Sexual
female.
and women are not the same thing.
It's female.
What about
Only a
C-section
woman gives me a headache.
No,
this
it
big.
reproduces by itself without a partner. That's asexual.
No.
Like a plant?
Sorry. So Google.
Yeah, like a plant.
No, plants.
well, no,
Okay.
plant
Does anybody
reproduces
want to
with,
talk about
there are
like
plants that are
genders or
spores.
like trans
Shoots
issues
sperm.
in any sort of serious way that isn't, dismissive of the topic?
plants are asexual too. So, yeah.
No, plants
Okay.
aren't
Let me
asexual.
Anybody else?
Let me ask. Are you
All right, Animal.
open? Like when you meet somebody, are you open about who you are?
What does that mean?
Kind of have to be.
Well,
I guarantee you're
alright,
gonna go with the
given
bar
the
argument,
voice,
right?
yes,
Like if I'm
but
sitting in a bar and I'm gonna have sex with somebody, am I going to disclose my genitalia to them? Is that your question?
no. Are you going to advise them that you're not really a female? So when you go to bed with them,
I don't
at a
identify
bar-
as a female. I literally just predicted what you were gonna say, and you said no, and then you gave me the same argument I just told you were gonna tell me. Why did you say
That's
no?
fantastic and all.
Are you gonna
Because I
disclose the argument you're
assumed-
gonna give me?
This guy is so smart.
Oh no,
wish I was as smart as
so
he is.
full on himself. But all right,
My IQ's
Them.
around 10.
do
That's
you
He's got
do you
all the gray
disclose
matter.
who you are before you fuck? Let's break it down to
The fact that I predicted it down to the fucking T. I'm so good
All
at this.
right, great.
Anyway,
You're
no,
not
I'm gonna answer.
answering the question here.
I'm gonna answer the question.
Then
if
answer
you
the question.
if you present as a gender that usually, you know, let's say that it's a trans woman who
All right,
has not had bottom
you're
surgery.
passing over the question.
I'm not.
Answer the question.
Let me talk.
No, you don't need to sugarcoat it.
Let him answer
Do
the
you
fucking
I'm not-
question.
know?
Shut the fuck
Let
up.
me answer
Or
the
do you not?
fucking
You
question.
Dude, next anima, let him answer the questions.
Yo,
Shut the fuck up.
Questions can have more than fucking 3 words as a response. There's nuance in these discussions. I know you can't handle more than 3 layers of nuance, but just listen to it for a second. So if somebody was a trans woman and they still had a penis, and they were going to go have sex with somebody, they should disclose that to the person, because if somebody is expecting a set of genitalia, then you should clue them in on what they should be expecting. But that should be done for any sort of sexual interaction.
Kill all the trans, kill all the trans, kill all the
I
trans.
didn't
fuck
ask
the non-binaries,
what
fuck
they
the
should do. I
non-binaries,
asked
fuck the
what you do.
non-binary.
It was a pretty
Um,
open question, or not?
I'm a pretty
it was
androgynous
pretty
person,
close.
and I don't go to bars and fuck people. So I would
But you said,
tell people that I had a
you had a
penis
bar.
if we were going to have sex. That's what I said you were going to ask me, and it is what you asked me. But for the sake of argument, I'm at a bar and I'm talking to someone. It's pretty obvious that I was born male. I'm pretty androgynous in the face and like the way I present myself, but I don't have titties. I got a big old weenie hanging between my
I
legs,
do.
and I would tell people that before they pull it out.
I mean, how big is it?
Oh, we talked about that yesterday. You don't need a recap on that.
Mine's a
Does that answer your
centimeter.
question sufficiently?
He called me sure. I mean, I kind of knew just because, let's face it, with your voice and your
Yeah,
mouth.
you can tell the length of my palate. Yeah, it's.
But what I'm saying is, because I didn't want to just direct it at you. I wanted to be like more broadscape. Like, do you think that's something that someone should do? Like, even long before like you're going to the cab, like you're meeting them. It's like.
So I just
this
answered
might
this, and
not
you told
be-
me I was deflecting the question. I just answered it in a broad terminology. Hold on. This guy.
No, you reached out, and I asked originally about you
Yeah,
because I
and I
wanted to
answered
know what
that.
you said.
But I answered it more broadly in the beginning because I knew this is where it was going. I'm so
like no
many
one comes on this
fucking
game anymore.
steps ahead of you. You have no idea. Listen. I answered it broadly because I knew that's where you were going, because I knew that my answer was going to be as contentious, because I am somebody that is pretty androgynous presenting. What the fuck is that? So, and I knew that you wanted a more concrete answer about, like a trans person who appears outwardly to be female but has a penis. I knew that's exactly what you wanted from me, and I gave it to you, and you told me I was deflecting, and then when I gave you the answer that you asked for originally, you then asked the question that I already answered. I am
wish I
playing
was
fucking
smart.
7D chess, and you're fucking sitting
But
down there
that's the
playing
thing.
checkers.
See, that's the problem. You're like kind of a cunt about it.
I'm playing
So-
sorry.
It's
I'm
a
playing Wizard's
joke.
chess.
It's a joke. It's just like, why are you so triggered?
Oh, triggered? No. You can't trigger me, friend.
I'm not mad. I'm laughing, actually. No, go ahead.
a loser and has no life.
Well, no.
No, that's a good
my
one.
honest question is like, who's
Yeah,
at
go for it.
fault?
For
Like,
what?
in the end, like, say 2 people are at a bar,
Right.
and
Who's
fucking,
at fault? What the fuck?
No, I'm working up to it.
Yeah, I'm
So,
listening.
2 people are at a bar, and one's transgender. Both of them
Uh-huh.
are getting fucked up. Now, when it comes, they find each other attractive. Everything's fucking fantastic.
Yes.
And then it comes to, apparently it slipped somebody's mind to, well,
Oh my God.
it can only slip one person's mind to let them know
Slip.
that, hey, they got a penis.
Yeah, so the
No,
trauma
I'm
comes
not-
in when the person sees a penis.
Right, and I'm not advocating violence by any means. But
Oh, of
obviously
course.
that person
Wait, I thought they were
would be
transgender
upset.
though.
Yeah, if somebody, listen, if two people are fucking drunk at a bar and they go home and they're attracted to each other, and you don't get the set of genitalia that you wanted, you go, oh, I'm sorry, I thought that you had a vagina and I'm not really into cock. And it's going to be an
The
awkward
problem is,
situation.
we're
What's the
not
problem?
Quite at that that.
Wait, are they
societal-
cross-
And whose fault is that? Whose fault is it that we're not at that stage yet? Is it the person that assaults trans people? Is it the trans person's fault? Whose fault is it that we're not at that
Excuse me,
stage?
I didn't say anything about assault. I said.
Well, what would be
I
the
don't
alternative
advocate-
Pepper.
to a
The
polite?
alternative would
Wait,
be.
wait, wait, wait,
get
wait,
the
wait.
fuck
Are
out
you
of my
guys talking about
house.
transsexuals or
Suck lady dick.
transgenders?
Yeah, you can be rude about it. That's just being rude. It's like any other situation where you're
kinda
rude to
put
somebody.
A little surprise.
It's not yeah, okay, so if you expected somebody's nipples to be perfectly fucking round and you can take a fucking protractor and you can, oh, it's a perfect fucking circle, and you get home and it's a fucking giant triangular mess, you go, oh, what the fuck, that's a surprise, ew, get the fuck out of my house,
How
you're a
many
dick.
nipples are weird versus
A lot of nipples are
women
weird.
that have cocks?
My nipple's offsided.
Because as far as I'm concerned,
My
the
nipple's
last
on my back.
percentage was like
Either way, it's a surprise, and you're
1.3 people
dissatisfied.
had a
That doesn't
cock.
mean you get to be an asshole.
But you let them on.
You didn't lead anybody on. Listen, you should disclose your genitalia to somebody before you engage with sexual interactions with them. If you both got super fucked up in this weird.
And stop the guy before he inserted it in him.
Stop. If you go to have sex with somebody and you expected a certain set of genitalia, you can be like, why didn't you tell me that you had this set of genitalia? But if you were to get fucking furious about it, you have a problem. You have a fucking anger problem. If you see a cock and you go, ew, what the fuck? That's your problem.
Hold on. Do you consider having sex with somebody that says they have a condom on, but they don't put a condom on?
Oh my god.
Is that a problem?
Yes, because that's lying.
But they didn't say. All right. What if they didn't? They kind of nodded. Like, yeah.
Oh, come on with these fucking semantics. If somebody, listen, this is why you talk about sex. This is why you have very clear and precise discussions about what you're going to do and what's going to be involved before you engage in sexual interactions. It's not a fucking, yeah, you are back in school because apparently you didn't fucking get it the first time. So listen, when you have any sort of sexual interaction with somebody, you should discuss it as much as possible so that both people are as comfortable as possible. Because apparently you're trying to spin this as a consent thing, as if like you're gonna find a trans woman attractive and go home and see a penis, and that your whole fucking life is ruined. Like, yeah, if they didn't tell you, they were an asshole. But can you assault them? No. Can you be a dick to them? Sure, that's not illegal.
Are you a
No,
him
see,
or her?
I don't know. I don't know what your problem is.
To reach for
Are you a him
Vietnamese
or
boy's
a
fucking
her?
nuts
I'm willing
before I
to
go
make a
and fuck
joke,
'em.
but I don't want to.
Okay, anyway. Sorry, go ahead.
When I hang out with a Vietnamese stripper, I know to fucking reach for it first.
I mean, yeah,
Oh my God.
we
You're
all
not supposed to touch the strippers, dude.
we all saw fucking Full Metal Jacket.
We all know
dude.
what's gonna happen on the back end.
We all saw Full Metal Jacket. We all get the joke. It's not relevant to the discussion.
Ah, that's your horror face. Let me see your wharf.
You've seen Full Metal Jacket. You
Actually,
should watch
was
it.
that
It's a
from
good
Full
movie.
Metal Jacket with the lady boys?
I
It was
I thought it was a
it
different.
was half of them are dudes and the other half have tuberculosis. You only fuck the ones that cough. It was a trans joke back in the 70s. It was very
shit.
funny.
No,
we all
no,
laughed.
there was
We all had a
one
good
where
time. The whole squad
there was
laughed.
the
one
Virgin
movie
Mary.
where the dude, like, actually went home with the Vietnamese lady boy, and you know he got a little shocked. That was the joke.
You know,
Yeah,
the
I
whole
don't think it was
Vietnamese
Full
ladyboy
Metal
thing is
Jacket.
actually a perfect example of different cultures having different gender prescriptions. Like that.
No, we've had drag queens for like. the
They're not
last
drag queens.
They have a
40,
third
50
gender
years.
over there, that's why.
It is essentially a third gender at this point. Yeah, gender is prescribed based off of society's needs and desires. So if for whatever, I'm not that educated on the Vietnamese gender situation, but they do essentially have 3 genders at this point because it's
It's all of
prescriptive.
South Asia. Even Indians have the 3rd gender.
Yeah, most of South Asia does have like a way looser definition of gender. They do, and I mean, yeah, and like Native American, indigenous people as well. They had in Aboriginal. That's what I mean to say.
My brain hurts.
Yeah, it's complicated. I get it. It's nuanced, and Chicken, you were here yesterday, and I know that you're a good faith actor, and I appreciate that. But you cannot, when having these discussions, you cannot come into it with the dissatisfaction of your understanding of gender, and then get mad about it, and then start screaming that there are only 2 of them. Because that's what's been happening all fucking night. And I know I came on this platform to talk about it, and that's why I came here, is because I knew a lot of people would behave that way. But when people are challenged on this issue, instead of, developing a nuanced approach to it, they just start screaming and they get offended and they fucking leave. It's sad, and there should be a broader discussion about the topic. And even if you disagree with me, I appreciate you guys asking me questions.
Well, see, the whole thing I have is, I get the trolls that just run in and go fucking tranny or whatever, but let's face it, you're taught or you grew up with whatever, you're dealing with. I don't know if you went to school for it, I don't know if you, whatever, but we are on 2 different sets of learning. So
well, you're uninformed. That's the difference.
No.
No, but that's what I'm saying is you're getting offended by it. But I'm telling you that this is an academic prescription. I know you don't give a shit, and I'm saying that's what the problem is that you don't care.
Hold on, no, academity. Yeah, Jesus Christ, I can't even fucking.
I go you.
But they don't.
No, he
want
said it right. It's academic.
Trial or fucking witnesses or lawyers when it comes to a sexual assault. It doesn't matter, man or woman.
Academic.
Yeah, what's your point?
I don't trust academia to fucking tell you what's really right. Because let's face it,
Wait, sorry, I missed a step there. What about lawyers?
I'm lost too.
What made you distrust academia when it came to lawyers and sexual assault? What do you mean?
Like, how do you translate what you're saying into something that's more akin to a court scene?
No. I'm just saying academia has a problem with having, real-life settings. They like to have their own private shit. And let's face it, 99% of Antifa is from colleges. So
that's irrelevant. That's irrelevant. Antifa is a worldwide organization. It's like a worldwide,
No, it's really not. It's
disconnected
really
organization. What do you mean it's not?
Really
it's labeled as a terrorist organization in Europe.
All right, do me a favor. Go look at all pictures from Antifa arrested.
No, I'm not interested in your fucking opinions on Antifa. What do you mean you distrust academia because you think that all of Antifa are college students? What does that have anything? You're jumping around and making this weird fucking emotional argument from the YouTube videos you've seen of Antifa members. It doesn't have anything to do with the topic.
Are we talking about transgender people?
We are.
No, we're
trying to.
Antifa, do you catch up?
So what are we
talking
talking? What are we talking
about? Anima, I want to hear what your actual point is, but you heavily derailed, and I want you to continue because I want to hear what you're saying.
Because my thought is, you claim that through academic studies, which once challenged are shut down to trans hate.
They're not shut down. I told you to give me.
Yeah, and I did, and I
Say it
found
again.
at least 7.
7 what?
One Google search.
7 what? No, give me the information.
Oh, he learned from the school of Google. That's how he knows.
Let me alt tab
Let's talk about it.
so I can hit up the fucking SERP subject that I hit.
No, I'm genuinely interested. Type in like a meta.
Howdy. All right, do me a favor. Sorry, I can't hit space when I'm searching on it. But science shut down about transgender. Dude, there's at least 7 cases right there.
Yeah, but those things could be any number of factors.
7 cases
There could be,
on the
listen,
first page.
listen. There could be any number of factors as to why things are shut down. There are a lot of organizations that have horrible control groups that have nothing to do with anything. There's a study about like transgender children that gets touted a lot by Nazi groups because it's like, oh, transgender children don't actually believe it and they're taught it by their schools. They interviewed the parents instead of the children, and all the parents had this idea that their children were being taught this in schools. It had nothing to do with the children.
Wait, what does that mean, the Nazis?
I'm saying that Nazis use that as a fucking talking point a lot.
Heil Hitler.
I've seen that study all the time. I've watched a lot of debates with actual Nazballs. If you don't know what a Nazball is, I don't think you should be asking me about Nazis.
Yeah, I can do that.
Is that
without
where
asking
Nazis
that.
go to a fancy ball?
See, the problem is when you say
Is
Nazis,
that like on the end of like a sync, like
Nazis
the
is
novel?
completely washed out because Nazis can mean anything.
There are actual Nazis around today, and you clearly are not within the political
That's
landscape.
kind of
that
cool,
I'm in.
but no,
My
there are
sister's
actually
one, actually.
not real
Badass.
Nazis around today, except
Oh
for the
my
ones that are
god.
dying. You mean neo-Nazis?
Yeah,
that what you're
okay.
talking about?
Neo-Nazis,
Neo-Nazis.
Nazballs, white supremacists, actual Nazis, people that claim to be part of the Third Reich. They're silly. I know it's silly, but they exist.
Wait, real Nazis from
people
the
that
Third
fucking
Reich are in
dog whistle?
Argentina, though. You can't ignore that.
That's
shit.
true. Hey, dyslexic. Dyslexic is
We're
based.
we're
I've
talking
decided.
about white Americans.
Yeah, white Americans. Okay, Charlottesville. Yeah.
What about
Gas the
Operation
Kikes?
Paperclip?
That whole thing. Remember that? Remember all those people screaming "Gas the Kikes"? And
Those are American, technically.
Remember
Blood
the
and
other
soil?
people that were
Remember the-
screaming, "Don't tear down my statues"? Yeah, I remember that too. Guess what?
Yeah.
There can be assholes on both sides.
Yeah, and you can call them what they are, Nazis.
Oh, so the ones that were tearing down the statues were Nazis, right?
No, I'm telling you that the people that claim to be Nazis are Nazis. You should listen to people when they tell you what they are. The people are walking around with swastikas.
Who are you to tell me about who's Nazis?
I'm somebody that's educated on the topic, and you're somebody who's not.
Oh, educated.
So that's about
How does
enough.
this do a gender
You don't
at
know
all?
my education, but
It's not, but
It's the best part.
you're clearly not educated.
love-
If you
well, I
just
love
told me
that
that
you're
Nazis
so
aren't
right.
around today.
Wait. What is...
I don't have to assume it. You told me.
Claiming you're educated isn't.
Wait. I want to hear...
It's not an argument. I already made the argument, and then he disproved it and asked me a question, which was, "Who are you to tell me?" And I told him.
Okay.
You disproved. What did you disprove?
You said I just disproved it.
No, I said you disregarded it. If I said disprove, I misspoke.
you said you
disproved it.
Okay, well I misspoke.
Sorry, kid. You can't take
Well,
it back. Fuck it.
If that's your win for the day, you get it. Okay, you get that one. I'm gonna give that one to you. That's a little freebie.
Oh, a little freebie. Well, I could sit here and probably get another 10 freebies.
Like the bingo card.
Oh yeah, go ahead. No, rack up the freebies. Hey, I'm taking coupons. Come on, hit me something else. Go ahead.
Sound a little upset.
No, I want you to get your freebies. You have one so far.
No, you're upset.
I've got a
Come
question.
on. Calm it
Okay,
down.
there's your second. There's your second
No,
freebie.
answer-
I made you
answer his
upset, so I
question.
win.
No, answer his question.
Whose
Calm
question?
it down.
Whose question?
You couldn't hear him?
The guy in the...
No, I didn't hear it.
We're trying to ask a question.
Oh, I didn't hear it. What's up?
Yeah. So I have a question. What's the
Yeah, go
age
for it.
when you knew for sure? What's the age when you knew for sure that you identified as the opposite gender and it wasn't just the phase you were going through?
Man, that
well,
guy sounds ethnic as fuck, too.
okay, you don't need to weigh in on this, dyslexic.
Yes, I am.
No, I'm gonna answer your question. I don't identify as the opposite sex or the opposite gender. I identify as non-binary, and it was about a year or two of actually thinking about it. I was pretty transphobic before all of this. I was pretty right-wing. I was going down kind of alt-right path.
Why do you lump those two together?
Hold on. So it was about maybe 2 years ago that I started using gender-neutral pronouns and kind of changing my behavior to be less masculine. So there's your answer. Thanks for the question.
All right. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and call you less of a transgender. Jesus Christ.
God damn.
Transgender activist, more than someone who just wants to suck a cock. There's nothing wrong with that.
You don't have any idea about my sexual promiscuity or the kind of genitalia I like.
If you're gender, fluid?
Neutral.
So you'll fuck a pussy, you'll suck a dick. All right, cool. Who cares? You're not special.
I haven't sucked any
That's
dicks.
a bi person.
Yeah, whatever. You don't understand the difference between sexuality and gender. I get it. I understand.
I have a question.
Go ahead, Dink.
What's the difference between gender neutral and gender fluid?
Gender fluid usually describes to people that switch their identity between male and female. Gender neutral is people that don't identify as either or don't prescribe to the language. I don't know. I'm not gender fluid. I wouldn't.
Oh, hey, look, it's you again.
That's pretty rare as well. Gender fluidity is pretty rare. I've run in trans communities for, I would say, at least 2 years now, and I haven't really run into anybody that's gender fluid. You can describe it as mood if you want, but you should probably listen to people when they tell you about their own identity. It just is kind of a thing that you do anyway.
As another gender though, so when being inherently gender fluid.
Well, that's the broader terminology encompasses anybody who is not cisgender, meaning identifying with the gender that they assign at birth. Oh, you're gonna tell me what it means? Okay.
Yeah, I am, because you're not
All right, go ahead.
transgender.
Oh, go ahead. Okay.
You're not transgender.
Well, yeah. Tell me why.
Because you're not transitioning from a different gender. It's pretty simple in the name.
So tell me, where did we find the word transgender?
We were calling trannies back in the day in the 70s when they were pretending to be fucking ladyboys. You're not special, dude.
See, your argument is entirely emotional, and it's based off this weird fucking contempt you have.
I really don't care.
Oh, you don't care? That's why you sat here for the last 20 minutes fucking talking about this and getting your little fucking...
than you have. So
Ladies
you
and
can
gentlemen,
suck
we
my
have
balls.
Hi, guys.
You can't claim to not care if you've sat in here for 20 minutes presenting me actual arguments and having me blow your fucking eye sockets out.
I'm having... you haven't blown my eye sockets out.
I have.
You
You don't have them anymore.
You give me gobbledygook.
I've given you actual just like prescriptive changes and stuff that could be done to
You really haven't... given me
to
anything.
address the problems. I told you, I answered your question about I predicted and then answered your question about the fucking bar thing where you think that's
and thought you answered my question because you think you're right.
I did, and then you asked me the question I already answered.
But that's why you're on stage, because you...
That's why I made my own private room that you came into. Yeah, I wanted to talk about the subject.
Oh yeah.
So here I am talking
you want to
about
be
it.
right about it.
Put me on stage.
Because I am right about it.
Oh.
Isn't that funny how that
right
works?
About it. Oh, that is funny how it works.
Traps are gay. Traps are gay. Wait, here comes
But
the
I'm
man.
sorry, you're not. You can't speak for the fucking LGTB.
LGTB.
You can't.
LGBTQ plus.
It doesn't matter
Yeah.
what fucking letter.
Hey,
oh,
chicken
I'm
is
sorry.
based.
Did I put fucking transgenders ahead of bisexuals? Oh,
Yeah.
Please. What a
How
shame.
dare you?
Something on stage
No,
real quick.
you don't need to say nothing. You don't need to. You don't have
Is-
anything to
is-
say of any worth.
So why are you upset?
I was
You're
talking to
not
that other guy because he was talking over you. I'm actually
Doesn't matter.
advocating for your speech here.
No, I really don't care. But you're not transgender.
Oh, you don't care.
can't
Okay.
speak on the subject.
I am transgender.
No, you're not.
You're
Traps
laughably
are
upset
gay.
about
Traps are gay.
my own identity.
Traps are
You're
gay.
non-binary. Non-binary
gay.
is
Comes the man.
not fucking transgender.
Trans
believing that they are
trans
the
as
opposite
the
sex.
language
So you can fuck
prescribes.
off.
Trans as the language prescribes includes anybody who is not cisgender.
No, it is not.
Oh,
Transgender.
I'm sorry.
Transitional gender.
Transitional gender? Wow. I got defeated in the marketplace of ideas yet again.
Yeah, you got defeated, all right.
But
No,
you're saying
it's
you're
not.
non-binary. You
I am
don't have...
non-binary, and that's a subsection of the trans community.
No, it's not.
Oh, the person outside of the
What are
trans
you
community is going to tell me what the...
transitioning to? What are you
That's
transitioning
not
to?
not an argument. Language is not descriptive,
actually
it's
it is.
prescriptive. You have no idea about
so
linguistics.
we're gonna make some shit up now.
Next.
Like,
Oh yeah, it's making it
Your
up.
name and your
You haven't heard
Racism
these
is
words
only white
before, so
people.
I'm making them up. You completely just pivoted the argument.
Only white people.
I mean,
What does that have to do with anything we were talking about? You have no fucking argument. You keep moving the goalposts. You moved the goalposts to Antifa and colleges when we were talking about trans issues, and I asked you to pull up fucking
academia.
We were talking about academia, and you tell me you found 7 fucking things about trans people got trans people shut down all these fucking
I love it.
these transgressional studies.
Thank you, and I will have a good you.
This guy's so funny, dude.
Swear. Oh, he's gone. Yeah.
Oh my god. I think he meant to say adieu.
Alright.
What a fuck.
Alright. Who won that discussion? Anybody? Let's get it.
Clearly he did.
Yeah, clearly he did.
Yeah, he did.
I was gonna say that too.
He said
I was gonna say that too.
so he automatically wins.
See, that's what happens when you have reactionary politics. Like you react strongly to other people's opinions, and then you don't actually have one of your own, and then you just pivot. Did you hear that fucking? Oh yeah, and all white people are racist, huh? That had nothing to do with the argument. But when you don't have an argument, you can just fucking say anything you want and just think it's related.
Joe Biden.
So can we get back on the argument of who the real king of Christmas is, Santa Claus or Jesus?
We'll talk about that after we talk about Dink.
I have a quick question, and I'm sorry if I already asked this. I can't remember.
No, it's okay.
But so you do believe that that gender is biological, or you don't?
Gender is not biological; it's social. That's not even a belief. That's not even a question of belief. That's just what it is. That's
I thought
what
it was chemical.
Gender
Okay,
is not
but
chemical.
you do believe that there is the biological factor of male and female.
Yeah, that's sex.
Like-
That's sex, and that's separate from gender, but they are causally linked most of the time. But they are not the same thing. They're not interchangeable. They're relating to 2 different subsections of like the bimodal curve of identity, you know, in terms of like sex meaning biological characteristics, like what you're talking about, and gender meaning the social and like you know, performative aspects of your sexual identification.
Interesting.
Wait, okay, so sex is gender, right?
Fuck off, chicken.
No, I'm so lost.
I educated you yesterday, so you fucking.
You did,
no.
but I got a walnut brain. I can't remember shit, man.
No, sex is physical, gender is social, and
Well, then
cultural.
what is intercourse identified as?
Intercourse is intercourse. It's unrelated.
But everyone calls it sex, and that gets confusing.
Yeah,
And
well,
you wonder why
I
we
know
have
it's
so
the
many
same
arguments.
word. No, I know that it's the same word, but there are a lot of words that have 2 different meanings. Do you know like
That's
there,
true,
there,
but
and
It's
there?
just brutal for that.
It is, yeah, well, yeah, I mean, and the language could change, but there's no need to. I guarantee you that in your walnut brain you have enough storage to store 2 different definitions for the same word. I prescribe that to you.
I can't see it happening.
Thanks, chicken. All right, okay.
I'm just waiting for another idiot to show up.
We're
Chance
gonna.
they're winning. You better hurry, man.
Anyone here know any rednecks?
We're gonna wrap this up. If anybody has any last minute statements or contentions.
Counter-terrorist win.
I don't have any jokes. I'm not.
Did you get enough material for your video?
What's your opinion on Star Wars: The Last Jedi?
I haven't seen The
wanna
Last
play
Jedi. I haven't seen
Counter-Strike
any. I haven't seen any Star Wars movies. All right, you guys can talk about that. Thanks for coming out. I'm glad you guys got
should stick
got
around
to
for a
see
little
me
longer.
play
Wait.
7D chess.
Hold up.
I want
What?
to play CSGO.
My friend wants
What?
to join.
What? Okay, and do
I
what?
want to hear more also. Like, I want... Yes.
What does your friend want to? Does your friend want to talk to me about it, or just want to sit in?
Yeah, I think he wants... I don't know. I don't know.
Okay, well he has about
He's
30
interested,
seconds.
though.
Okay. I'll give it a little bit of time.
Are you able to change the halo on your avatar to different skins, or just the Jesus hair?
It's just the Jesus hair, as far as I can
Damn
tell.
it.
But it also just looks like my own hair, so it worked out pretty well.
Yeah.
Hello. We're waiting on somebody to join, and we're gonna see what they want to talk about. And
I
if-
think that was
if
me.
it's-
I was just curious
Oh.
what you had to say.
Oh, Well, I've been through a lot of topics already. I was about to close it down, but if you have any like specific questions, I can answer them.
What's it like?
What's what like? Being trans?
It's good. Let's play CS:GO. Thank you for the question.
Being trans is dope. I like coming in here and dunking on Nazis and people that think sex is gender. It's laughable. I enjoy that a lot. I appreciate you all sitting around enjoying it with me. I appreciate that. I'm gonna go play CS:GO.
Consider like a Nazi?